Hi guys, I would say welcome to Oakcrest TV Live. Um, Welcome to Oakcrest TV Live. Today we shall be looking into the current situation in the U.S. The new case now arising since 2 days, the past 48 hours, of protests going on around the cities in the U.S. protesting the new abortion laws. So we just want to talk about it because this is what affects our everyday life. You know, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining me here. Thank you. Thank you all. So, um, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you for coming on board. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend. And today we're talking about this new circumstance, this new situation that has just arisen in the US with regards to abortion law, um, and what is going on there and how it affects our everyday life. Just so you know, abortion has been legal in the US over the past 50 years. So for this leak to have occurred in the um, in the Supreme Court, from the Supreme Court. So we're looking at what has been happening around the various cities in the US. But just to give you a hint a little bit, this abortion law has kind of startled everyone, both Democrats and Republican, because he also poses some threats to Republican as well, even though it favors Republican and the ideology. But if it goes through, it may somehow undermine any form of President Trump return, because he may overturn his presidency. Future interest in it, we don't know, but we are forecasting that. So just take it as hearsay, just commenting on social events. So now there's protests across the city, both those in opposing and on the viewing, on the supporting side. Some pro anti-abortion thinks is a good thing, while others feel is taking away the freedom or the choice of the women to be able to, be able to make their own life decision, because there are some cases where abortion is inevitable if the mother's health or otherwise. But we don't know. We're still looking at the event as it unfolds. We know that the U.S. midterm election is just by the way coming, and this leak now coming out from the the Supreme Court. We know it's a legal document. Listening to BBC broadcast about it, it's a legal document. It's not fakery. But if real or false, the U.S. Congress, there's been a report also this day in the BBC. It says that can Congress legalize abortion if the real false? So if after all this deliberation and this real false, can the Congress sit up and legalize abortion to be applicable nationwide? Because what is going to happen now is, with this abortion law being repealed or it falls, it means that about 20 states or more would then have to decide within themselves if they want to allow abortion in their state, or they would, have a way to think about if there is how women could deal with Planned Parenthood. So we're looking at the various, sides to these arguments for those opposing and for those in support of it. I myself, my view on abortion is basically maybe informed by my religious view, but I've come to accept that it's part of the society of the 21st century. We should give women the right to decide if they want to take contraceptive, they want to have abortion. So I'm neither here nor there, actually. I'm not against it. I'm not in favor of it, because I want people to decide what they want. So in some cases, bringing out my religious thinking cap, I may say I'm against it, but I'm not. Actually, I believe in freedom of choices. So I would say it depends on the individual involved, circumstances involved. I, for one, if I have if I become pregnancy, be it within marriage or out of marriage, I'll keep my babies. I love babies, but everyone is entitled to their own decision. So you don't have to, talk people down for their opinion about life. So, and everybody mustn't agree to your own book. So that's why. So it's like a Supreme Court crisis now. So I'm looking at the report on BBC World News. It said never in the modern history that a draft Supreme Court opinion has been leaked to the public. The court tradition operates like empty Olympus, with opinion handed down from high and the inner workings. The judiciary horse trading, debating, cajoling necessary to reach a majority, all taking in place in cluster chambers, not in the public. So this is the first time this is happening in American history. So it's a real big change. And with that, everybody is looking forward to seeing what happens from this, what happens from this abortion leak. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me. You're free to ask your questions, and I would like to take questions if you have questions. And okay, I think I want to bring Reverend in. Reverend, are you trying to join me? Okay, so this is it. So we're talking about this it seems a Supreme Court crisis, but at the end of the day, U.S. courts may overturn the abortion right leak. That was what comes out. The news came out with U.S. court may overturn the abortion rights. However, there are other opinions coming up now to say that the Supreme Court, the Congress can actually go ahead and legalize abortion if it comes to that. Overwhelming majority in the Congress can actually vote in favor of abortion. So the report says in the BBC News that millions of women across US could soon lose their legal right to abortion, according to a leaked Supreme Court document. The document published by Politico suggests that country's top court is poised to overturn the 1973 decision that legalized abortion. So what we're talking about is over 50 years, nearly 50 years. So over about 5 decades of freedom to women to choose if they want to keep a baby that is hard or they feel is out of Planned Parenthood, taking out the choice again from the hands of women. But I know that the Republicans are anti-abortion and the Democrats seems to be in favor of it. The Republicans see themselves as pro-life. So this has been the divide across both parties. But at the end of the day, I think women should be allowed to decide in themselves if they want to keep a pregnancy or they want to terminate it. And also other medical conditions should be taken into account if we're saying there should be no, or if we're saying that abortion is not illegal. So Roe vs. Wade is the court site because Mississippi is asking for it to be overturned. The justice heard that case in December. So states like Mississippi wants it to be, overturned. So this report says that 13 states have already passed so-called trigger laws that would automatically ban abortion. So 13 states already in the United States has already, passed so-called trigger laws that would automatically ban abortion if Roe is overruled this summer. So if this abortion law goes through and is overruled this summer, 13 states already is being noted that they can, automatically ban abortion. A number of others will likely also pass law quickly, So some 36 million women could then lose abortion access, according to research from Planned Parenthood, the healthcare organization which provides abortion. So if the court does overturn Roe, it will fall on our nation's elected officials at all levels of government to protect women's right to choose. President Joe Biden said in a statement on Tuesday, we will need more pro-choice senators and more pro-choice majority in the House to adopt a legislation that codifies Roe, which I will work to pass and sign into law, he said. So Joe Biden is very progressive about it. even though I know Joe Biden is a Catholic, but he's been progressive about this. So is a plus for the women. Anti-abortion groups such as Susan B. Anthony, activists list have welcomed the news if Roe is indeed overturned. So if they've overturned this Roe, if they overturn Roe, indeed, it means that our job will be to build consensus for the strongest protection possible for unborn children, it said. So, it's a very dicey case here. We're looking at those who believe in the right of the unborn child to live, and we're looking at those who believe in the right of the mother to decide either to have the baby or to terminate the pregnancy. But either way, the best thing is that the Congress should come up with agreeable ground, upon which, the right of the women or the right of the anyone who wants to choose the line of Planned Parenthood is protected. So with this, I've been following this case around and I've been looking at it. I understand it's a sensitive case among those who believe in the Roe and versus the Wade rulings. So whichever group you believe in, who could be most affected when it's overturned? There is a story that talks about those who will be most affected. Who else do you think? The women who could be most affected about these abortion changes. I said currently in the US, abortion takes place at about 24 weeks into pregnancy. The Supreme Court is considering whether to allow the state to ban the procedure in earlier stage of pregnancy. A final ruling is not expected until July. So if the law changes, what might be the impact? Who would it affect? So who could be the most affected? There is a statistics here provided by BBC. So limiting abortion access could disproportionately, impact young women. Some young women still in education and they're fallen pregnant. Some of them don't want to keep the pregnancy so they could carry on to build education and career for themselves. Then it could impact poorer women. And another poorer women category, these studies, you can check this on bbc.co.uk, is African American women, as this group are more likely to seek an abortion according to official data. You see, mostly African American women from this data says that they seek abortion. They look for it. So with that, you have to look at these people. What is the quality of life of the African American woman? As this group are most likely to seek abortion according to official data, the majority of the women having abortion in the US in their 20s, it then listed a graph. So I wish I could share this with you. It says the percentage of US abortion. So under 15 is 0.2%, 15 to 19, 15 to 19 years of age, 8.6%, 20 to 24, 27%, 25 to 30, 29.3%, 30 to 40 years of women, 19.6%, 35 to 39, 11%, and 40 and over, 3.7%. Anyway, we could explain the going down of this curve because as women age, their chance of getting pregnant actually begins to decline, but not for all persons. So we can see why this curve is declining by age. So this source of this data is U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, published by BBC in its website today. So, okay, published yesterday, the 3rd of May. So, poorer women more likely, you see, African American are being categorized here. So you don't want women to be in a disadvantaged situation to having to raise a baby, not having enough to provide for them. So with this, you have to think of a balanced situation where the mothers, and the fathers are able to provide for the child. So Black women, they talked about Black women are disproportionately affected. Percentage of US population compared to share of reported abortion. Again, it's more among Black women seeking. Black women make up 13% of the US population, but have over a third of reported abortion. Imagine, the Blacks are not a majority in America, they're actually minority. They make up only 13% of the US entire population, yet the women of Black and ethnic group, African Americans, 34% are seeking abortion. I don't want to criticize or anything, but I know that we of Black heritage, we frown at abortion, or we frown at helping our children to prevent unwanted pregnancy. We don't want to talk about it. It looks like a taboo. But honestly, if you're of adult or productive age and you feel you're already engaging in sexual activities, I think it will be wise if you have other preventive measures like contraceptives, or using, different method of contraceptive, just to, lessen the impact of unwanted pregnancy. So if it's happening more, if this data is to go by, is source of it is Kaiser Family Foundation, U.S. Census Bureau, that more African American women are seeking for abortion, despite being only 13% of American population. It shows of poor planning as well. So we have to plan to include other birth controls, contraceptive, if it's within our reach, just to avoid unwanted pregnancy. But if pregnancy happen, I for one am pro-life, but again, I am very much open and support any right that women should have the right to decide to go for abortion or not to go for it. So either way. So I don't want to bring up my religious thinking cap here and just bash the whole thing. No, I believe that women should have the right to keep their baby. And also, I believe it's important that every woman is made available contraceptives so that they don't even have the option of getting to the level of abortion. But before it happens, you can use other sexual preventive measures, to see that it doesn't happen. But should in case it then happen, because most contraceptive pills, a condom, they are not 100%, they're about 98%, 92%, 90%, 89%. Yeah, you have to use these contraceptives in place, first of all, to see that you're protected. Then if you then fall among those who are not, who are not prevented, then you can then think of considering how do I say it, considering abortion. So this U.S. abortion law is very important to me because it's what I think about a lot, the right of women, what it used to be back in the Stone Age when the women do not have choice to decide if they could be opting for abortion and the rest of them. So it's good, it's a liberate idea, and I really, really, really am one for it. I do not want to put on any form of religious thinking cap here. This is because they've been very, some situations where women have got to think of abortion and then they have got to go for it. So they shouldn't be less to feel less human or less holy for doing that. So that's why this U.S. abortion law has been I've been reading through it, I've been thinking about it, I've been following the live reaction and updates. And what happens in America triggers around the world. So America seems to be trickling down. In this era of social media, things trickle down fast. So you don't know how this case will go around the world again, and then impact where you have gained meaningful progress in the area of pro-life or abortion right laws throughout the world. But I know, like the country where I live in the UK, there is no repealing abortion law. You have the right to it. The option is presented to you at NHS if you want to. So nobody's pressurizing you. You have to decide for it, and then the medical team have to assess you to see that it's the best option for you. So, and also one of the things that makes abortion second really, really important is if you don't have the financial wherewithal to see a child through from infancy to adulthood, sometimes mothers consider abortion rather than to bring a child into the world to suffer. But countries like the UK and Europe, they tend to assist single parents to the much the government can, to alleviate their suffering. So in this way, we don't have this problem as such like we have in the US, where the healthcare, insurance, and having to go through the abortion process. So it talks about what happened if Roe versus Wade is overturned. He explained it in full. If it's overturned, what it means. So people are carrying some placards say #dismantle Roe, keep abortion legal. So these are the opposing field: dismantle Roe and keep abortion legal. So In fact, this role, it has helped women for the past couple. It will be 50 years next year. Actually, um, it was actually established in 1973. Established women rights on abortion, and over the years, progress has been made. So I do not want this cancellation culture to damage or dismantle the progress that has been achieved for the past 50 years or 5 decades of our existence. So I wasn't born then, but I think it's a good thing that the law was actually brought in, and it has helped people around the world as well. So he said, what will happen if Roe is, overturned? Roe versus Wade is overturned. He said, abortion will not immediately become illegal and nationwide. Instead, it will be up to each state to decide how much access women living there would have to abortion. About half of 50 states will move to ban abortion within weeks, many immediately. But other states will continue to provide access, not just for women in their state, but for those living states where it is banned. So this is a good one. It's a good one. But I also like what President Biden said, that the Congress will look into it to see how, they could assist women. So it's really touching. What does the U.S. public think about Roe versus Wade? So it's a majority of Americans, 62%. So it's over half, told Pew Research in 2019 that abortion should be legal in all or most cases. In all or most cases. And only 38% said it should be illegal in all or most cases. There are cases where abortion is inevitable. In the case of where baby is growing in the fallopian tube, but there's some, challenging pregnancies, or, some people that are living with certain genetic diseases. It's people like from African descent that may be prone to sickle cell diseases. So when they are pregnant with someone who is a carrier and they are carrier, that baby is at risk of sickle cell disease. In this case, the hospital will offer you abortion. Rather than bringing a baby to suffer, you could have an abortion. So there are cases for abortion, and there are cases that, are not for it. So you look at it and then be open-minded. Don't be aggressive in the argument. Don't think your way is the best way. Everybody has got an opinion and have right to an opinion. And also he said, why is this all happening now? He said the Supreme Court has been asked to rule on Mississippi law that challenge Roe and Wade. You see, because there's been a challenge in the court. The court is made up of 9 justices who serve on the bench for life. 9 justices. President Trump appointed 3 during his presidency when vacancies of the court came up. That changed the political leaning of the court to one that was most skeptical with Roe versus Wade, more supportive of restricting access to abortion, which is kind of leaning towards Republicans. They are conservative a bit. So all 3 of Trump appointees voted to overturn it. So, given the case already a leaning towards Republicans and towards conservatives. So, yeah, at the same time, many Republican states around the country have been focusing their attention in recent years on bringing more selective laws. So selective laws, giving people a chance to be able to select what they would want and how they would do it. Is an hostile abortion right is growing. A U.S. state where policies demonstrate a degree of hostility. It listed leaning state, hostile state, very hostile states. So these are reports you can find on the BBC. I was trying to look what was said about it in Fox News, but I've not been able to access that here in the UK. So it's really good if you could look into this, and because how these things affect all around the world is, is different. I don't think it will have impact on UK. We don't know, but we know that what happens in America triggers around the world. So, in Fox News today reported some things. It said 13 states have triggered laws. 13 states. This is Fox News today. It was written by Jessica Chasma, Fox News. So it said overturning of 1973 case could spark a wave of anti-abortion law in half the country report says 13 states have triggered law automatically banning most of all abortion, most of all, if Supreme Court overturns Roe and Wade. So 13 states, and this could begin to trigger to more states in America. So the Supreme Court is expected to strike down Roe and Wade according to an unprecedented leak of a draft majority opinion written by Justice Samuel Aito in the early February, which Politico published Monday evening. So this report has been written since February, but it just came into light today. And it's good there was a leak because people would have waken up to just see this law being scrapped. So with the public outroar, everybody discussing it, public media, social media discussing it, public opinion on it, I think it would also filter into the heart of the mind or the hearing of those in political positions. So think, this is not a very nice decision. So that's it. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm very, very grateful to have you on my live broadcast today. And we shall be discussing the events that go around the world. Thank you once again. And I will say thank you. If you have any question for me, please pop your question and I will try to answer it. I would want to take 1 or 2 questions, please, before the broadcast comes to an end, please. Okay. I'm looking. Any question, please? Just ask me a question, please. I should be able to take your question. Okay, in the sense of no question, I would say thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Bye for now. Yeah, do we have a question? Okay, I think someone is typing a question for me. Please type your question in the question box. That would actually help me understand that my followers are also following along with me. Like if I turn this to the system, you would see, what has been. I'm trying to flip my camera to show you what's on the computer, but so thank you guys for joining me. Thank you once again. It's been a pleasure to have you guys today on my live broadcast. Thank you. So I would like you to look into it. I think I should list the 13 states that could ban abortion almost immediately. So we're talking about states like states are Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wyoming, which just passed its trigger law last month. There are also 5 more additional states like Alabama, Arizona, Michigan, West Virginia, Wisconsin, which with an abortion ban still in the book for before Roe versus Wade that could be reinstated if the law is overturned, according to Guttmacher research. So there are kind of other states that are open, to overturning this law. But my concern is, and my wish is that every woman, not just my body, my choice, but every woman have to feel safe and feel in the right place to bring a child into this world. With this, I would say, let's keep the court open. Let every opposing view be heard. I'm positive real, I'm positive real because it's giving women the choice. You don't have to bring a baby to suffer when there is a genetic illness. You don't have to bring a baby when you cannot raise the child. So I think this is actually a good thing. Not really a good thing, but I think when there is a public discussion on it and Congress could sit and, pass the law that abortion is now legal again, that's a good one. Thank you guys for joining me. With this, I'll say bye for now.